So having just finished the Halo campaign, I have a lot of thoughts on it. It was really, really fun to play through Halo for the first time in, well, I'm like 20 years late. And I have to say, in general, it is understandable why Halo became the cultural and video game phenomenon that it's become. It's a really intriguing experience. There's several things in here that really stand out to me that make it just a worthwhile adventure. It's fun, it's action-packed, it feels good to play as Master Chief. The story is fairly compelling. I also, of course, found the music to be extremely good. It has a really unique soundscape, and I think that soundscape really carried the experience for me. Of course, this is a music channel, so when I listen to and play through a game, I'm doing so with the sake of the music first and foremost. And I have to say that musically, this was really interesting. It had this essence of tribalism. The way that the Covenant is represented with the tribal drums, the way that we get the strings and the sad music to represent keys and represent the Marines and Halo, that little homage section where you're, exploring through the lens of the Marine that was shot and killed, and you put on this helmet, his transponder or whatever, and look at his life, and you hear the terrific rock aesthetic. I thought that was a real nice homage to, classic rock in a lot of ways. And we come away with this 80s synth style sound that really manages to work, and it sounds good. And even now in 2024, almost 2025, depending on when you're watching this, there is a quality in this music that feels very, very timeless. Now, obviously, things have changed and things have evolved, and there are also 4 other Halo games that include symphonic music writing, but even here, even the simple use of male chorus, or the way that we use soprano ever so delicately to indicate, not a sense of fragility, but a sense of strength in adversity. There's something in that is really satisfying. Of course, the male chorus, the Halo theme, this is an iconic theme that is known across the world, across the planet. Everyone knows, and what that represents and the potential for that sound. It represents a lot of different things. The Halo itself, difficult moments in the game, Master Chief, sacrifice, loss, but also strength and focus and determination. And so, I'm left with, okay, I've just played Halo at 20 years later, and what are my thoughts? And the reality is that it certainly has shown its age. And this is the best way I can say it, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I wish that I'd played it at the peak of its popularity. I remember going to my cousin's house, going to play this game with people, and feeling like, yeah, this is a really cool game to play with friends. I never even thought about the story being important or worth experiencing. In a way, right now, playing it in this time period, it feels like I'm playing a museum piece that's a really important component of video game history. But because of all the stuff that has come from Halo itself, I don't feel the impact or the effect or the visuals or any of the sort of things that would lead a person to be like, holy crap, this is one of the greatest games ever made. Combat Evolved feels very dated, and it's a bit of a slog and a little bit of a chore to get through. And in fact, quite a bit of a chore. I had to really sit down and lock in and decide, hey, I'm going to play through this. I'm grateful I did, because as a person who loves the industry and loves games themselves, it was a real treat to dive in and experience this. Should you experience it for the first time if you've never played Halo? I think so. I think it's fun. I think it's a really, it's a summer blockbuster. It's perfect. Are you going to deeply assess the meaning of life because of it? No. But I do think that we don't always need that, and sometimes it's really fun to just be able to play a game that feels really good and that still, functions insanely well considering when it was made. And maybe that's also part of the revolutionary aspect of this game, is that this game continues to hold up 20 some odd years later. Do I think at parts it's a little long and kind of boring? Yes. Do I find it almost monotonous at times? Yes. Do I find that I could have used much shorter length of missions? Yes. Do I like where we are now in terms of gaming, in terms of accessibility, in terms of making things faster and kind of getting to the meat of the thing sooner? Yes. Do I think that it's worth it for you to experience Halo? Absolutely. It's one of the most important video games ever made, regardless of where the sort of franchise has gone now. I'm curious to see where things go. with Halo 2, with Halo Reach, with Halo 3, and Halo 3 ODST. That's really more what I'm excited about. I felt like I had to see Halo Combat Evolved through so I could get to that meat and potatoes experience with those games, and I'm really excited to see what those are like. But in terms of audio design and sound design and music design, I mean, this is great. And if you've ever played Destiny, then you're of course aware of Halo, and you know how important Halo is to that series. So yeah, I mean, that was a real exciting thing for me to hear. I loved the soundscapes in this game, and I thought that they were really interesting, really, really well fleshed out. There's a section near the end of the game where you're going through, I think it's the Maw, the final battle. You go through and there's just this male chorus as you're shooting. Or there's the night sequence in the previous section that is awesome. It's got a wonderful soprano, and it's got this 80s thing, like think Steely Dan, you know, this sound quality that, it's weird to say, but I think my dad was really into this kind of music in the like 80s, 90s. And I say that like in total praise. Like that's a sound that is fun to listen to. You know, Jerimaquai, stuff like that. That's really where my brain is going. Would I play it again? Probably not. I feel like I would close the door on the Halo chapter. Would I listen to it again? Definitely. There's a lot of stuff to listen to, and there's more that I even want to listen to now because I'm like, ooh, that was really fun, or that was really nice. That was my experience with Halo Combat Evolved. I'm really looking forward to diving into Halo Reach, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, Halo 2 especially. How do you even like expand? I mean, I know it's a huge franchise, but like, where do you go? I mean, based on what we did at the ending, I don't even know how we could have a second or third or fourth, you know, a fifth. Anyway, thanks a ton, and I'll see you later.